Hi, I'm Denise Weeren. I'm the owner of Tiles of Nature.
What is Tiles of Nature?
Tiles of Nature is a ceramic tile studio in which we make sculpted tiles, custom ordered. We do relief and we do painted tiles.
What do you mean when you say tiles?
Well, there are several different kinds of tiles that we do. One of them are just plain 6x6 or 4x4 tiles in which we bisque them and we paint them, and then we put a glossy glaze on them, and it's not that different from what you get in the regular stores, except it's actually a painting. It isn't just a print of something you've seen somewhere, and it's not stamped on. It's actually a custom painting. And then we do tiles in which they're not square. They're cut out in a jigsaw type fashion, and what makes sense to cut it because it's just too large to assemble by itself. So these are a lot of bas relief and sculpture tiles, and then we paint them and we put a lower gloss on them, or a lower shininess. It's a satin type glaze on them.
How did Tiles of Nature get started?
Tiles of Nature got started because basically I outgrew my garage. I got into ceramics and realized that I needed to do the flatter sculptures because I tended to break the things that stood up by itself. I would turn to get something and my elbow would knock it down. So I needed something flat and protected from me, and found that I'm actually very good at making tiles.
How did you get interested in making tiles?
How did I get interested in clay or tiles themselves?
Both.
I got interested in making tiles because, like I said, I would break things if it's tried to stand up by itself. When I lay something down, it's like a painting to me. I can actually feel where it needs to come out and where it needs to go in, and make it so that it's a three-dimensional picture. That's one of the things I really enjoy doing, and I like making sure nature is represented in it. I've studied nature all my life, even bugs.
How did you get interested in clay?
That was an accident. I moved into a new house and the movers accidentally broke my favorite ceramic fountain for outside, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to replace it. My husband suggested that maybe I just try to remake it myself. Didn't think I had a ghost of a chance doing that, but I found somebody who was willing to fire it for me if I sculpted it out, and she sold me the clay and promised to fire it, and I fell in love with clay the minute I opened the bag. There's that moldy, earthy smell that comes from the bag, and I found out right away that I love that smell. And I like playing in mud too, apparently. So after that, I was just hooked. I never actually made the fountain, but I've made a lot of pretty things since then.
What is it about nature that interests you so much?
Everything. I like understanding why animals do the things they do, and I guess it's true for most naturalists, because those kind of documentaries are very, very popular. I like big cats, I like insects, I like underwater life. I just like it all.
Is that what helped you come up with the name for this shop?
I came out with this name because basically my husband liked it, but secondly because I wanted to make sure nature was represented in it, because everything I do I try to make look as real as possible, as much like nature as I can get it. And since nature seems to be all I ever actually do in my art, then Tiles of Nature seemed like a good name for my company.
What's your favorite part of your work here?
Oh, definitely the sculpture. I love carving on clay when it gets to leather hard. That is my favorite thing to do. I like taking the clay and making it bigger than life, and then removing just little pieces of it until it looks like hair, or it looks like eyes, or till it looks like what I expect it to look like.
What if you take too much off?
Put it back on. Clay is very forgiving. It can be unforgiving too, but it's very forgiving. It's so much easier than working with wood or with metal or any of that. You put it on, you take it off, you put it back on. It's easy.
Do you have inspiration other than nature?
Do I? You know, I have a son who's thinking about joining me in my business, and he's wanting to do things like Mexican skulls and such as that whole zombie kind of look and stuff. The
Day of the Dead?
The Day of the Dead. And the Ed Hardy look. I call it kind of a tattoo look. He likes things that look like tattoos. And he's very, very good at it. And I think that the young people today will really like that. So I'm encouraging him to come and join me in my studio.
Can you tell me about the piece behind you?
This is the actual sign I'm planning to put next to my front door of my shop. It already says Tiles of Nature. I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of a demonstration of what I do. I like big pieces. This piece is, when completed, will be 3 feet by 5 feet, and basically it was sculpted on and then clay was taken off, and there's indents in it everywhere. It's a relief type painting, and then of course I paint it to make it look as natural as possible, and it isn't finished right now. It needs a lot more work. A lot of people really like it better once it's got paint on it, because they can actually see it more clearly. But this is a puzzle. Every piece on here just fits together. A lot of people don't even notice that it just fits together. It starts out as one big piece, and then I cut it up, and then I fire it, and then I have to reassemble it. Then I have to paint it, and then I have to fire it again, and then I paint it some more, and I fire it again, and then I glaze it, and I fire it again, and then it's ready to assemble.
What is it that you intend for all of your pieces? This piece obviously is going to go at the front of your shop, but what about the rest of your work?
A lot of the work I do, I make just for my shop. I like to have pieces up front that can show people what it is that we do here. We can make painted tiles, we can make entry murals, we can do bathroom scenes, we can do just scenes from nature. But we can also sculpt you out things. You know, if you show me what you have in mind or what a person really wants, we could sculpt it out. I was reading in a book once where a woman really wanted a desert scene complete with camels in her bathroom. And an artist actually went in and did something very similar to what I do. He went in and he sculpted out some camels and some palm trees and a lot of sand. And it looked cute. And people just want things that are different sometimes. And that color scheme worked really nice for her bathroom.
Is there a reason that you started your shop?
I want people to get back to nature, but I also want people to be able to find something totally unique. People like me who really like nature, there's not a place you can go and just buy a mountain lion coming down a mesa. You can't just go off to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy those kind of tiles. And I also like to do lions and tigers and flowers. And I'm starting a series of insects. I'm not sure how many people will really like that, but I was thinking about doing some beetles, and I'm going to do some praying mantis and what else? Oh, a grasshopper. Several types of tiles that will actually fit in with the other tiles that you can buy that are already manufactured from like Lowe's and Home Depot. But I'm thinking about doing a series of tiles that are for Egypt. I'm going to do some hieroglyphs on like the obelisk and a pyramid and several of the other Egyptian things.
Okay. Is there anything you're working on right now that you want to talk about?
I'm working on some 8x8 tiles in which I decided that almost everything I make is a one-of-a-kind piece, but I'm thinking that to bring costs down for some individuals, I would like to do some tiles that are made from a mold so I can remake the same tile over and over. So this is my more three-dimensional piece instead of just a tile. It's actually going to be a wall piece where it's kind of mounted like a trophy. I'm gonna do a backboard, and then it's gonna sit on a platform. It won't come out this far. But this is a typical position for a cat that's searching for prey. If you'll notice, its head is down, its shoulders are hunched up because it's as low to the ground as it can get. The ears are back. The eyes are very, very focused. This cat has found what it's looking for and is now sneaking up on it. But as I go, I intend to cut this in half and make a mold of the two pieces and then put them together and remake it into different kinds of cats. Right now it is a lioness, but I'm thinking I'm going to turn it into a male lion. All I got to do is add more or less the beard and the fluff of hair on the top, and then I'm going to turn it into a mountain lion, which would get rid of these whiskers here on the bottom and kind of bring forward a little bit more of these cheeks, and maybe even raise the forehead just a little bit for the mountain lion. The leopard has a thicker face, and so does the tiger. So when I do the tiger, I'll bring out hair and features that come out to the sides.